What I'm about to say is possibly going to be one of the most hypocritical things I've ever said on this channel. Because I've been dissing TNA about how awful their knockouts division is, but what I want now is going to make it way worse. And that is that I want Masha Slamovich to leave TNA and come to NXT. The reason that pops in my brain is because Masha was on NXT tonight and that just had the ideas flowing. But we're going to talk about that later. We're going to put that on hold. We're going to follow the flow of the show for now. NXT opened with Oba Femi celebrating winning the NXT championship. He has that Thanos line, dreaded run from it, destiny arrives all the same. That was pretty cool. I like Oba Femi as this final boss. And then afterwards, like Tony D'Angelo comes out and he says like, Oba, hey, I beat you twice, you only beat me once. And no, let's not do that yet. Tony D'Angelo versus Oba Femi, we can revisit that after Tony D'Angelo eventually loses the North American Championship. But for now, let's give him some views. Like, the men's division is already so weak. We don't want to put our two top men's titles against each other. That doesn't feel like a good idea. Thankfully, Ridge Holland puts a stop to that. Oh my gosh, I'm actually excited to see Ridge Holland. Wow. Okay, but he comes out, he beats up Tony D'Angelo, and we're going to continue that feud. Good. I want to see what happens there, and I don't want Oba Femi to deal with Tony D'Angelo just yet. And then Eddie Thorpe attacks him from behind. And you know what's sad? Is that I'm actually starting to buy into Eddie Thorpe. I'm just very late. I really like this thing of just him being this chicken shit heel. He's taken a spot that was usually Ethan Page. Oh, we're going to get to Ethan Page later. But I'm really liking this version of Eddie Thorpe. I'm actually buying into it. And then, yeah, he attacks Oba Femi, holds the title up. And backstage later, Oba Femi makes this match official for next week. Obviously, Oba Femi's gonna win. He's gonna retain, right? There's no way Eddie Thorpe's winning that championship from him. But I believe it'll be a good match. And Trick Williams later on in the show also said he's gonna be away for a while. And then he's gonna come back. I do believe he's going to only debut on the main roster after WrestleMania. I think he's gonna come back and then he's gonna be the challenger for Oba Femi at Stand and Deliver. And then that afterwards he's gonna lose obviously, and then he's gonna go to the main roster wherever he ends up. I think that's probably the best idea. But you can book Trick Williams in for a Royal Rumble appearance. That makes a lot of sense. And then that's probably enough time to build up a bunch of challengers for Oba Femi after Stand and Deliver. So that seems like a good route to go. For now, he's probably going to deal with Eddie Thorpe and then have some sort of challenger in between. I don't know who. Probably Tony D'Angelo, because they were teasing it. They wouldn't tease it if they didn't have any plans for it yet. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's happening in between. But I'm willing to bet money that Trick Williams is going to be a Stand and Deliver challenger. But the difference here is like ginormous. Because Oba Femi has this big celebration with a bunch of people coming out and people after his championship, and simply Giulia just gets nothing, just a backstage promo. That was bad. Like, my big complaint about Giulia was, well, it's not a complaint. I'm excited for her title reign, but I have no connection to Giulia. Like, I don't know who she is. I don't feel any connection to her as a character, and that's gonna harm her. And I wanted to see that. Even if she just came out and thanked everyone, that's something. It's more than what we got here. Like, I can't build a connection to you if I don't see you interacting with the crowd, like talking to us, the audience. And she didn't do that, and that sucked. But okay, it is what it is. The women's division tonight was really good, but this whole Giulia thing, I think we could have cut a few things, just give her a short celebration. And then Ethan Page has a backstage confrontation with Dante Chen. Ethan Page is becoming the lower mid-card killer. Last week he killed Cedric Alexander, and this week he tried to kill Dante Chen. They had a match, and Ethan Page pretty easily disposed of Dante Chen, and then he put his feet in between the steel steps and absolutely destroyed it. I'm liking this version of Ethan Page a lot. I didn't really buy into him before, but this version, it's really good. I'm really liking this version of Ethan Page. I see a lot of potential here, and no, he's not. I don't know who I want to win, because I want Javon Evans to get a massive push because I love him. But I also want to see this version of Ethan Page go on to be successful, because it's one I think people can actually connect with. And I don't even know what it is. It's like things just like snapped and connected for me with Ethan Page now. So I'm very excited for his rivalry. Like, all of the rivalries in the men's division right now, It's the Oba Femi and Eddie Thorpe, Ridge Holland and Tony D'Angelo, and this whole thing with Ethan Page and Javon Evans. I'm really digging this. Obviously, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but it's really good at the moment. And then we had the number one contendership match for the NXT Women's North American Championship, and Shotzi Blackheart defeats Stephanie Vaquer. Now, on paper, seems like a horrible decision, but I loved it. First of all, Fatal Influence kind of interfered in this match, and that helped Shotzi kind of win the match. They didn't help her, but their interferences allowed Shotzi to get the victory. You get what I'm saying. Now, this makes sense because, well, this works because you are continuing this feud with Stephanie Vaquer and Fallon Henley, or Fatal Influence, even through her losing. Like, we're obviously eventually going to get this match. We're not just going to stop because she lost it. But this does more for the story that they're building and this feud than her just winning would have done. And in between, Fallon is going to get a massive victory over a established talent in Shotzi. So, no matter how you put it, it just works. Now, a part of me kind of wants to see Shotzi win a championship. I think after this, she's going back to the main roster after losing to Fallon. She's going to go back to the main roster and, like, probably face Chelsea. I don't see any reason for her to face Lyra for the Midgard Championship there. I can see a pretty good feud between Shotzi and Chelsea, especially since Chelsea is done with Micha now. That would make a lot of sense. But yeah, I don't think Shotzi stays here for much longer. Then backstage, Sol Ruka is telling Kelani Jordan to not lose who she is. Like, Kelani's been losing a lot, and I've complained about that, but I'm glad it's actually a story and not just per chance. But yeah, Sol Ruka is like, don't worry Kelani, just stay who you are because that's what got you so far. And then Zarya and Cora Jade both, well, separately, not together, they're not teaming up. But Zarya is like, hey, no, you need to change it up. Like, you need to be better. And Cora Jade is just like demeaning her. She's like, no, you're horrible. You should just quit. Now, this sets up a match between Cora Jade and Kelani Jordan for later. But I really like that we're doing this story with Kelani. Personally, I don't want to see her as a heel, but I can definitely see the potential there. She's given me some, not heel vibes, but like some stuff I've seen from her has made me feel like she can be a really solid heel. And obviously the big wrestling cliche is that people are usually better as heels, but I think Kelani is such a pure babyface, and I don't want to change that because we don't have anyone else. Like, sure, you have Sol Ruka, who's like a really solid babyface, but she gives like Jeff Hardy vibes. And then you have guys like Giulia and Stephanie who are also pretty pure babyfaces, but they're kind of different. Because like Giulia doesn't talk a lot and Stephanie has more badass vibes. You don't have that pure white meat babyface, and that's kind of what Kelani Jordan offers, and I don't want to change that. And now we get to the big Masha thing, because before the Cora Jade and Kelani Jordan match, Masha Slamovich was in the crowd. And like I said, I really want to see her in NXT. Obviously, I don't want TNA to lose all of its women. There's a few women in TNA who I want to see come to NXT. If you guys want to see that, I can make a whole like 20-minute video about that. But in the match, Cora Jade defeats Kelani Jordan. It's obviously to progress the story that we're telling. I don't know where we're going, but I'm very excited for it. And then after the match, it's just a tiny stare down, but we have Cora Jade staring down Masha Slamovich. I would love to see that match too. I would genuinely love a match between Cora Jade and Masha Slamovich. A lot of people have been saying Cora Jade isn't as good as she was. I don't really see that. I enjoy all of Cora Jade's matches. I think she's pretty good, and she's really good on the mic. I just think it's like that AEW crowd. I'm not calling out AEW, but like the people who just want to see great matches and don't like more slower paced matches, more mic work. But yeah, I really like Cora Jade, and for TNA, I think this would benefit them a lot because that would be the biggest name they've had so far on their show, and having a feud for the Knockouts Championship, that would be great for them. And then we had the Meta Girls defeating the Unholy Union. They're now the number one contenders for the NXT Women, not the NXT Women's, the Women's Tag Team Championships. NXT needs Women's Tag Team Championships. I'm gonna make a video about that too, but like seriously, NXT needs Women's Tag Team Championships. This was a pretty solid match. I really thought we were gonna get Lash and Jakar on the main roster a while back. I don't know why they're still on NXT, because they've been making that jump between the two shows. We should just let them go there. There's so much potential for them on the main roster, they have no place here anymore. And while we're at that, let's split up Unholy Union. They just don't work together that well. They're a cool team, they're an established team, but Isla Dawn should go on her own. She has all that potential to be like a bombshell type of wrestler. Alba Fire, formerly known as Kaylee Ray, also deserves a lot more than what she's getting here. Not that Isla Dawn or this tag team is beneath her, but she was once the NXT UK Women's Champion for such a long time, and I thought she was going to do so much more than what she's doing. And if we just place her on NXT and have her be part of this exciting women's division, I think she can very easily stand out. Because you don't have anyone with her look right now, anyone with her vibe. Even if you keep this fiery, witchy vibe for her, it'll still put her separately. If you go back to her NXT UK look, it'll still make her look separate from everyone else. So I really think we should split the Unholy Union, because I don't see that much of a future with them, especially with this very weak women's tag team division. If you're gonna have a long shelf life as a team, you have to be one of the better teams and like an all-time team, and they're not it. Then, for whatever reason, DIY is here and they're scouting for Axiom. I don't know what this appearance was about. I guess it was because DIY is one of the all-time greats NXT tag teams, and Fraxium is like not slowly, they're fastly climbing that ladder. They're pretty easily top 5 all-time. But I don't see where we're leading with this. Regardless, Fraxium retains the NXT titles against OTM. OTM really impressed me in this match. This match was fantastic. Go check it out. OTM really impressed me. I like this small versus big dynamic they had here. It was a fantastic match. OTM is really impressive because last year around this time they were feuding with the family and I couldn't buy into them at all. They had a cool look with Jada Parker. Also, why isn't Jada Parker with them? I'd like to see her be more involved with them. But okay, that's to the side. I didn't really buy into them. Now with this tag team division being reinvented, I'm kind of starting to get into them. Similar to Hank and Tank, similar to Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe. All of these tag teams I'm slowly starting to invest myself in, and it's exciting and I really like it. And I am interested to see what we do with Fraxium and DIY. I just hope we do continue it and it wasn't a one-off appearance. But if we are going to continue it, I'm very excited for it. And then the last part of the show was Roxanne Perez coming out and saying, like, okay, I carried this women's division and now I'm gone. So, like, this women's division is going to fall apart. And Bayley comes out and this was really cool. Bayley's had a really workhorse week. She was on Raw, she was on SmackDown. Like, she was all over the place. And I think it worked because for the last few months, she's kind of taken a back seat. And now she's back at the forefront and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really getting back into Bayley. Not that I was ever out of her. Yo, pause. But you know what I mean. There wasn't anything to get myself excited over. And now there is. And like the two of them get into an argument and Roxanne just bitch slaps her. Now what I think is going to happen is Bayley has a women's title match this Friday. Roxanne Perez is going to cost her that match, and that's how we're going to call Roxanne Perez up to the main roster. I don't want to see Roxanne Perez in NXT any further. I don't think there's always going to be something to do. I've said Trick Williams should be called up many months ago and they just kept giving him new entertaining stuff. So I think there's obviously stuff to do for Roxanne Perez, but I don't want to see her in NXT any longer. I want to see her get promoted, go to the main roster, and kill it over there. People always saying, well, she's not that good on the mic. I think she's pretty solid. I think she's not awful. She's okay, and that's better than nothing. Everybody saying she's not going to survive on the main roster are just wrong, because like I think she's very easily going to survive on the main roster. If Lyra Valkyria is getting pretty good responses every week, Roxanne Perez will do fantastic. Now, I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen, but I would like it to happen. Like, Bayley is so close to winning and Roxanne Perez just costs her the match. I think that would get her some great heat and be a great introduction to her for the main roster. And having Bayley as a first feud, it probably won't be a WrestleMania feud, but you could pretty easily make that a WrestleMania feud. And that would be incredibly big for Roxanne Perez, and she totally deserves it. Now, if I had to give tonight's show a rating, it would be a 10 out of 10. I sat down and I enjoyed the entire show tonight. I don't know what it was. Like I said when I made my first video of the year, I'm just going to go into this year being more optimistic about the shows I'm watching, being more invested into the shows I'm watching, just going in with an excited vibe instead of a more critical vibe. And that's definitely helped. And this show, I just enjoyed all of it. I sat down, I enjoyed every piece of the show I watched. It was fantastic. A 10 out of 10. I would heavily recommend you watch NXT this week if you haven't been watching NXT for a while. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video. Leave a like, subscribe. Let's join this community, get to 500 subscribers. I would really love that. Thank you for watching. I'm sending love to all around the world, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.